Hey, it's Madison Chase, and welcome to It's Yes or No. It's your entertainment source or news option, and all the way in Wickety Wick, Wisconsin. My girl, Stefztv, say hey to the people.
Oh yeah. Hey guys, how's it going? It's getting a little chilly over here. I don't think that the warm weather is over, but it's a little chilly today. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching.
Okay, so we're going to make this quick. We're going to talk about Brad and Angelina Pitt Jolie, and most importantly, the kids. So, Steph, take the story away.
Okay, I've got the latest report on TMZ, which is a pretty credible source. So if you haven't heard about, Angelina Jolie filed for divorce against Brad Pitt. Now, there's a lot of speculation that this is all stemmed from some behavior, drinking behavior, excessive weed use, and some anger issues. So there was an incident on a private jet flight from France to, I believe, Los Angeles. So we're going to talk about that's like the backstory. Now, here's the latest report from TMZ, which is it says, it's almost certain Brad Pitt will not be prosecuted for any alleged assault against his son, so say multiple law enforcement services involved in the case. Our sources say, with conflicting accounts of what happened between Brad and 15-year-old Maddox 30,000 feet above the ground, there's no way to conclusively prove Brad intentionally inflicted harm on his son, as we reported the conflicting stories about the events leading to the confrontation on the jet. Based on all of our credible sequence of events is that Maddox said something that Brad that pissed him off. Brad then lunged at his son. Angelina stepped in between them, and at that point, there was some physical contact between Brad and Maddox. It appears Brad made contact with Maddox somewhere in the vicinity of the shoulder area. The biggest issue, whether it was intentional or advertent, it's the job of the prosecutors to prove this was involved. That would be extremely difficult. On top of that, CFS social workers saw no evidence of injuries on Maddox, none. And there's more. No one filed up for the incident. Finally, our sources say these cases are particularly difficult because of the blurred line between abuse and parental discipline. The incident occurred in the air, the FBI has jurisdiction, and our law enforcement sources say it's, quote, highly unlikely the agency's probe. On the other hand, the LA County Department of Children's Services has a broader scope than the FBI. DCFF incident talked to the kids and parents about the overall living situation. So with that said, Angelina Jolie has filed for divorce and she wants sole custody of the kids, giving Brad Pitt only visitation. So that's where this is kind of a shocking story to me, actually. I didn't really see this one coming, but that's kind of where this is at. Madison, what are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on that, there are a couple of things. First of all, they've only been married for 2 years, but they've been together way longer than, that's what the stories that I've read. They've been together for 2 years. They've been married for 2 years, but they've been together for an extended period of time.
But it's very important. They've been married for 2 years is because they were taking a stand and they weren't going to get married until marriage was available for all people. So they've been together and wanting to get married. It was legal for gay couples. They were not getting married. So that's why they waited so long to get married.
Okay. But here's the thing that stood out to me when you're talking about the parent discipline, like that varies from culture to culture, race to race, state to state, country to country. Like it varies. So for us to have an opinion about that, I feel like it's not fair that we have an opinion. And calling Child Protective Services, they're on a private jet going to France. Like, you're mistreating them, but they're going to France on a private jet because I know they're not flying American Airlines. The FBI involved in your family's history. Like, here's the thing that's important for me. The things that's really important, super important for me as a person who wants to live my private life. And when I get married, I don't want people in, raising my kids and having an opinion about it. I think the thing that's most important here is Maddox that's 14, Pax that's 11, 15. Sahara that's 10, Shiloh that is 9, and Vivian and Knox that are 7. I think the thing that people need to consider when they have an opinion on a story like this is, what you want someone in your personal life? Would you want someone having an opinion about something that could be traumatic as going through a divorce? Like, that's where I'm going to leave it. I don't really have an opinion. I just,
there's two things. There's two things, and I'm not sure if read in this article, so I'm not sure if you knew this piece of it. This all stemmed from an anonymous call that Brad was drunk.
Mm-hmm.
And then now this is what I have to say about
it. Wasn't anonymous. It was somebody on that private jet, because I was like, they're not flying.
Right, but listen though, if you're on that plane and you're talking about Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, it is a very easy way for someone to claim fame to make this report. So the fact that whoever made that call wanted to stay anonymous so that they didn't have anything to do with it shows me that they were just looking out for the kids. Because apparently there was reports that Brad Pitt was drunk. There was reports when the plane landed that he tried to drive away in a fuel truck. So for me, I understand there's a fine line between butting out of people's business, and I do feel like I'm not a parent, so I don't know, but I do feel like from when I was a child and I got disciplined to the way kids get disciplined now, there's a lot more people trying to criticize people now, as opposed as there was, stricter ways to be disciplined then, and it was okay. But I feel like that is people just looking out, not trying to grab onto the fame from them, but really just looking out for the children.
I hope so, but I hope the media has the same consideration that person that called anonymously. But here's the thing, like, that's still someone's opinion. Like, he wasn't slapping or hitting and verbally abusive. Was he raising his voice? Was he cussing? Was he calling him out of his name? Like, we still don't know, and it's so ambiguous. So here's my thought. Like, I don't really have a question, but I do kind of have a question. Like, would you want someone in your personal life when you're going through something just as traumatic as what they're about to go through? At the end of the day, to me, it's about the kids. So I think people and the media need to take that into consideration and let them work this out privately on their own with their attorneys. And don't have an opinion about it, because you would hate for someone to have an opinion about what happens in your life, Steph, and what happens in my life. Like,
oh, totally.
So regardless if they're famous, if they make 20, 100, 20 million, quadrillion dollars, like, it still doesn't give me the right to have an opinion about how they raise their kids that they adopted. Like, that's huge in itself. So that's
yeah.
Go ahead, Steph. You have something you want to say?
Yeah, my rap is, I agree with you. I mean, for me, it's just, my opinion is that it's just shocking because Angelina Jolie is so involved. She's, UN ambassador. They've done so much for these kids. So for me, my opinion or my feeling is just kind of shock because, and not that I know them and not that I have a right to say this, but it's just, you thought from the outside, them adopting all these kids and them, doing all the things that they do, that there wasn't a problem. So the fact that something like this comes out, and then, my other opinion is, this isn't the first person that's been a super successful actor. Brad Pitt, this reminds me of the Johnny Depp thing. It's like these actors get to this place and then what happens? But yeah, we don't necessarily know what is happening, but I feel like, yeah, that's what you sign up for when you are a celebrity. So if it was just Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, fine, have it be all over the news. But yeah, you can't, like, the kids 15 years old, you kids live their lives, you got to protect, leave these kids alone. Like, there should be a line, and I feel like the media does such a terrible job sometimes walking that fine line, and I feel like, I really hope that this all just gets sorted out in a clean way for the kids so that they can all move forward. And if for some reason Brad does have drinking or anger issues, he should get it sorted out. I mean, he's still acting, he's still successful, he's still involved in a lot of stuff. So, I don't know, I just hope that it all gets sorted out and that all those kids are taken care of.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, Steph. Like, we're saying he has a drinking problem, but maybe he just had too many drinks. Like, does that mean you have a drinking problem because someone actually sees you and you get into a fuel truck?
Okay, so maybe
I'm just
the word drinking problem.
Angel's advocate. I'm just saying, like.
No, I get drinking problem is strong, but if you're that drunk in front of your kids, to me, that's a problem.
Again, I just say, go see the movie that I talked about. That's all I'm going to say. I'm Madison Chase. It's yes or no. This is about your opinion. We want to know what you think. So thanks for watching. You can find me on YouTube at One Man Chase. And all my other social media will be in this little box below. Like, subscribe, comment. Steph, where can everybody find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram. I am Stefztv. Thanks for watching.